Oh no! Hi everybody. Why is my picture black? Oh no, hold on. Troubleshooting. Okay, there we go. I don't know why that took a moment. Um, Trying something different tonight. Pardon the elaborate mess in front of you. This is not... I don't really have equipment to do a good setup for this, honestly. Most people who do streams like this use a horizontal tripod rig, which I do not own. So I don't really have anything overhead like a shelf or anything that I can rest a camera on or rest a tabletop tripod on or a gorilla pod. So for right now, we have the camera over here. To my right, I am at my usual streaming desk. You can see a little bit of my the bottom of my second screen here, and my microphone and everything. So I'm working on a very small amount of space because I have the computer, the stream deck, the camera rig on the actual tabletop, the microphone. I have to have my headset plugged in, even though I'm not going to be able to hear anything. So I'm going to try and keep an eye out for alerts, but I'm probably not going to see them because I don't have a wireless headset. So it's hard for me to be moving around a lot with a headset. That's going to be like my computer's way over here. So I can't have a wire cutting through the painting area. It would be a giant disaster waiting to happen, whether I would knock something over or just get paint all over everything. A little bit out of frame over here, I have some paintbrushes. I have like a rag. Behind me, across the other side of the room, I have all of the paint, finishes, mediums, some other supplies that I may or may not get to tonight. I don't know how far into this I'm going to get tonight, because I only have so much time, and with taking care of the dogs and everything, I know I'm not 100% going to finish it, but I would like to get the bulk of it done. So we'll see. I'm probably going to ask opinions on a few things that I have as options. But otherwise, yeah, we're going to work on, as the stream title says, painting my face. Now, I am going to, depending on how long this takes or how long certain things take to dry, because there are some things that I know will take 30 minutes if I use them to dry. Well, obviously, we are not going to sit and watch something dry for 30 minutes. That's not very interesting. In any time that there will be a huge amount of downtime, we'll play some Ooblets or something. I can't, with this setup, I cannot switch over to the Nintendo Switch easily because I don't have enough ports on my computer or my USB hub to support all of this stuff at once and consoles. So it's kind of like camera or consoles. So camera's usually the thing that doesn't get included in streams for right now. So yeah, we're gonna work on this. I have an idea in my head. I don't know how well it's gonna work. This is I would credit the maker of this, but they no longer sell masks. I bought this a very long time ago. It's kind of hard with my camera angle to show it off. I don't know if it'll autofocus or not. Let me see if I can get my autofocus to work. Hold on. Let's see if we can get a little autofocus. Maybe? Okay. Probably as good as it's gonna get. It's hard for me to see because I'm not close to the screen. But so this is it. It's unfinished inside. It's a raw pull. So you can see it's all like goopy looking. It's all resin. I got this from a dude on DeviantArt. He also had an Etsy shop many moons ago. I don't think he's posted anything new, at least not under the same handle, in quite a long time. I just attached this so I can hang it to the wall. It's just hot glued in. It can come off because it's on resin. But yeah. So I don't know if he stopped making masks. He made a whole bunch of different masks, and I wish he was still around because I would love to get some of his other masks. But this is just a blank pull. There's been nothing done to it. No sanding, no finishing. I'm not going to do any of that. There's gaps and holes. So usually, if you're not familiar, when you get a kit like this, which is what it would be considered a DIY, kit, usually what you would do is you would, Dremel out the eyes, Dremel out the nose, the mouth, you would sand it all, you would finish it all, you'd put like liner, fabric, padding, all that on the inside, straps if you're going to wear it, or a display hook if you're going to hook it up on the wall. This is a wearable mask. It is scaled to be wearable, and he made it with the intention of being wearable or a display piece. It's not super heavy because it's pretty thinly cast. I don't know how easy it is to see the pull depth on this, but it's pretty narrow, especially compared to some other pieces I have. I do have a number of masks. I'm a mask collector. In college I used to make masks, never anything this cool. I actually threw out all of my college masks because I thought they were horrible after the fact. On that same tangent, and I will talk about it while we're doing this art stream, I do have 2 art degrees. And I know, like, everyone's like, well, you never post any art on Twitter or on Instagram or anywhere else for that fact. And I don't. I also don't really make any private art, as weird as that sounds. Honestly, I went to a performing arts high school, and then I went to art school for an AA, and then also for a BA. And the way that worked out pretty much just burned me out to the point where I just never drew, or I don't paint, I don't make anything unless it's like for a cosplay. And like, especially in the last 2 years with COVID and no conventions and no travel, I haven't been making cosplay because I have nowhere to wear it to. And I know not everybody thinks like that, but that's kind of like, my brain is like, oh, well, I make it so that I can wear it to a convention. If there's no convention, why am I spending all this time and money and labor for me for no real reason? Like, yes, one day there will be a reason to wear it, but like, I don't have a lot of space. So I would rather, try to force myself slowly into getting back on the horse. I don't know how successful that's going to be. This is actually very nerve-wracking for me, this stream, because I am very rusty in my opinion. Like, even though I've done cosplay stuff and small projects over the years, though I've been out of college since 2013. So the end of 2013 is when I graduated with my BA. So it's been a long time, and I really haven't done any like big projects. I've started big projects and then never finished them, or I've bought a lot of supplies with the intention of doing big projects and then not following through. So this is kind of my way of having, so to speak, an accountability buddy, where like if I talk like, oh, I'm gonna have an art stream, or whether it's for commissions or just for me to doodle or for me to paint or whatever, it's a way for me to force myself to follow through, as opposed to saying to myself I'm gonna do it and then not doing it, if that makes sense. So the basic walkthrough of what I'm gonna use today. So the DIY pole that I did not make myself, I can look him up and see if I can find his information later, but again, he's not selling anymore, so you won't be able to get any of his work, sadly. I have this thing right here, which is longer than you can see on camera. This is just a glazed, like a serving plate that you would put food on. You can see it's gone through lots of wear and tear over the years, but I love these. These have a nice curve to them. I'll try and show it off on camera. These are great. I have 2 of these, and they're connected, but I have 2. And these are great for paint because they're cheap, because they're plates. They're not meant for art. They're meant for food. So, like, usually if you get, like, a ceramic artist's plate, it'll be overpriced because it's sold for artists. But if you can get just a plate of glass, regular glass, that's, obviously got safe edges or something, or you can get, like, a ceramic dinner plate or a dessert plate or even a bowl, whatever your preference is, it's usually cheaper than buying artist supplies. So I've been using these forever. Like, I used to take these to college with me to paint on, and I use acrylic most of the time, so it just washes right off. And if it's acrylic and you let it dry, you just peel it off like Elmer's glue. Like when grade school, you used to put Elmer's glue on your hand and then peel it off. Acrylic is just a type of plastic, so if you leave it on something like glass or on ceramic that's finished, you just peel it off in one giant piece and you throw it away. That's it. If you want to keep your paint, wrap it in plastic wrap, mist it with a little bit of water. You can keep your paints overnight if you keep it moist, is basically as basic as it gets. There's also companies like Golden Acrylic sell retarder for paints, so you can get a slow drying agents that make your acrylics work more like oil, so you can keep your acrylics alive longer, either on the canvas or on the palette, I don't use those. I've never tried them personally, but everyone I know in school used them. So I know that they do work because they're quite popular. So yeah, I'm going to be using mostly golden paint because that's what I have. Basically, everything that I'm using tonight I already owned. I didn't buy anything for this project new. I have some different types of leaf that I'm not sure which one I'm going to use. I have leaf adhesive and leaf sealer as well, which those both take quite a while, so they would be a last part of the project, I think, because I would be doing either the eyes. So there's a round eye here. Let me see if the blowout will catch it. So there's like a round eye here, and then there's a glossy finished eye here in the forehead, and then there's also obviously the teeth. And a lot of no masks have gold teeth or metallic teeth. I have gold leaf, silver leaf, and copper leaf. I thought I had bronze, and I was excited to use the bronze, but I don't have bronze. I have copper. So I don't know which one I'm going to use yet, but we're just going to jump in. I have a little cup. This cup here on the other side is just water for painting. I will say I'm probably the only painting major who never drank their paint water. I don't know how I got away with that, but I never have drank paint water in all of my life. I've got lots of variety of brushes, obviously. Yeah, I have my shorter brushes, my shorter handle brushes in this cup, and there's tons of them crammed in there. Also, I always keep a lot of toothbrushes in my kit with different textures. So, like, this is a very soft toothbrush. Oh my god, look at the dust that just came off of that. Jesus. That's embarrassing. Oh my god, there's just dust in my face now. Toothbrushes are great for splatter or for, like, unique scrubbing texture. So, like, a lot of the times, even for cosplay, like, I'll put body paint and you just whoop, and just you get a nice little splatter. And it makes it more unique, and you can also, you know, just flick it or whatever. You can see some of my other more aged toothbrushes are now black because they're very stiff compared to the other one. So I have I think I only have one palette knife in here. It's an old rickety cheap thing, but you know, it's just good for like mixing or scraping if you need. But mostly it's just old beat up brushes. I have always collected like really shitty brushes because even ones that have like dried glue on them like this from like contact cement, you can get really interesting textures by using fucked up brushes or cutting your own tips if you are not super precious. Like if you're buying cheap brushes, go wild, customize them, beat them up, treat them like crap, whatever. I have some longer handled and wider brushes in this other cup here. So like I have chip brushes, I've got some soft brushes. That's so soft, that brush there. And then these are all like easel mint brushes, so they're different qualities. Some of them are newer than others. Some of them are pretty fucking nasty and beat up. And then I got some smaller chip brushes. So yeah, and I got a sponge brush or two. Sponge brushes always come in handy. You know, you gotta get some sponge brushes. This is not a Bob Ross video. Now, I have never used this before, and I won't probably be using this tonight. But this is this is meant to be a duster for a keyboard. And you push it up, and it's got like this floppy-ass brush. Thinking about cutting brushes gives you anxiety. I mean, if they're expensive brushes, I can understand not wanting to, because there are very expensive brushes out there that cost like double or triple digits. Yeah, those I say take care of if it's within your style. But if you're buying 50-cent brushes that come in like a 10-pack, fucking cut them up, man. Make them cool, you know? And I've always taken terrible care of my brushes, mostly because I buy cheap brushes, so I don't really care. I will say the most expensive brush I think I personally have ever bought, and it's destroyed right now, so this is a real fucking shame. I don't remember how much it costs, is this brush right here. Now, this did not look like this when I bought this. This brush is a Low Cornell extra, extra large 277 round brush, which means it used to be like a giant makeup poof, like this, right? Like it used to come out like that. And then you can see, I don't know if it'll pick it up on the camera because it's all black. But basically, let me see if I can get this to focus at all. I don't think it will because it's kind of shitty looking. But it's so crusted over with paint, and it's all cut up. I cut chunks of the paint out and everything. This brush is destroyed. This brush cost me more money than any other brush I've ever bought, and I didn't even take care of this. So, that's the kind of painter I am. So I'm gonna grab some paint, and we're gonna attempt to start at least with the base coat. I'm gonna try and cover the whole thing in one color first, and we'll go from there. So I have to. My paint is all on the other side of the room because I don't have enough desk space with my stream setup. So one moment while we grab the paint. Let's see. Right now we're gonna start with this. I think I got that over there. I shouldn't need this, but I'll grab it just in case. And I've got some other miscellaneous supplies back there in my paint stash. I'm going to turn on this music. I'm going to need someone to tell me if the music is too loud or not too loud, because I can't have my headset on. So, you guys can let me know, because right now, I don't see anything showing up on my mixer, so I don't know if it's too loud or not. I have it turned up pretty high. So, just let me know in chat if the volume is good or not. I can turn down the music and get this paint open. Also, another good thing, so a lot of paints come with the rigid caps. I know that it's not going to autofocus on that because it's all white. But the rigid caps, if you're like me and you have either like no fingerprints or you just have really bad grip, get a little rubber silicone grippy thing. These come in handy for so many things. There is no shame in using that to pop open a fucking paint bottle, because especially if you don't clean your paint lids, the shit's gonna get dried up. I mean, it's just the laws of fucking physics. April, how was my audio? So I'm going to use some cheap black paint. This is Utrecht brand paint. Utrecht is now owned by Dick Blick. So this is just like store grade. They consider it studio series. This is medium body. I'm usually a heavy body painter, but it's fine because this is for darkening a white. I'm using golden professional grade titanium white. Music is pretty quiet. Holy shit, the music is turned all the way up. How can it be quiet? What the fuck? I don't know how to fix this problem. Why is it saying it's quiet? I don't understand. I have like the music set at a 9 out of 10. There's no way it's quiet. I mean, I can't hear it because I don't have my headphones on, but that's crazy. Tell me if it gets any louder. I don't know why I'm having problems with the audio balance lately. I haven't changed anything, and I seem like they have nothing but problems. Oh, I probably should. Hold on, I'm gonna move this so you guys can see what I'm doing. Sorry that my camera angle, again, is not fantastic for this. Is it coming out of... No, it's not coming out of speakers. It should be feeding right in through the computer to OBS. Is it coming out of speakers? Maybe I'm only hearing the speakers and it isn't coming through. No, it should be coming directly from my desktop. I have desktop audio on. What happens if I do this? Okay, that does not affect it. I mean, it's supposed to be pretty chill music, but it should be hearable. I'm going to turn it all the way up to 10 and see if you can hear it, because it's literally at 9 out of 10. And I don't think there's anything else I can do to make it louder, because it's just music. Like, I can only make it so loud on OBS. Do you hear it any better now? I turned it up all the way to 10. I mean, literally, I have my sound, it just got quite a bit louder. I only turned it up one notch. Okay, hold on. Is it good or is it too loud? Because I don't want to have to yell over it, if you know what I mean. Like, because my mic doesn't go any louder. My mic is 10, and now the music is 10. Also, I swear I keep seeing something flickering on the side, and it's driving me kind of fucking nuts. Okay. I need a brush for this. Let me see what I've got. Oh, I see what's flickering. Okay, that's fine. I need a... Let's use this junky brush. I don't need a good brush. How is the balance? Okay, I'm gonna dip in a little bit of water over here. Also, I have paper towels, I have rag, I have all that fun stuff. I know not everyone likes to mix with paintbrushes, but because I don't take care of the paintbrushes, I don't care. Usually people mix with a knife or a spatula. I don't do that. I just mix directly with my... Ooh, that's gonna get annoying. Let's not have a rocking palette. That would be bad. Okay, there we go. The opposite of the Bob Ross experience. Okay, I kind of want to keep this, I think, kind of light gray. Hopefully my HD camera... Okay, it's good now. That's so strange. I had to turn it up all the way. Which usually my music is at like a 4 out of 10. Like when we play Ooblets, like not only is the music at a 4 out of 10, but the game is like at 60%. Okay, so we're just starting off with a very light gray. I just mixed titanium white and deep black together. Just a tiny bit of deep black. It's always easier to go darker. So I'm gonna lay down a gray layer across this. And I'm just gonna use the same brush because I really don't care, and we're gonna get into all the little details. We're just trying to cover everything, and I'm not doing a spray base. There's no method to this madness. We're just doing it. And I'm gonna paint over the teeth for now because if I add the finish, the paint will make a difference. So it'll help fill in like gaps and just give me a clean base. So yeah, I just wanted to have some music, and I'm gonna get all these little under ridges here. Let me move my mouse so I can see the chat a little bit easier. Yeah, I'm sorry if I'm gonna miss any alerts. You can feel free to yell at me in chat if I miss alerts, just because I can't hear the computer. So at some point, if I upgrade to wireless headset, then I can paint and hear at the same time. But I don't own wireless headphones or earbuds or whatever, so I can't hear from this far away. And you guys don't want to listen to an echo because that would drive everyone fucking insane, and I wouldn't blame them. So feel free to yell in chat if I miss an alert. I do have OBS open in the corner. You should move chat if you can. It's right over. Okay, thank you. Yeah, this is the one bad thing about having a setup that's a little bit off. Let me move chat. We'll move chat over here for right now. You don't need to see anything there. That's just my microphone and the corner of my screen. I don't think it's cut off. It's hard for me to see, but thank you for the heads up. This is what happens when you have new things and you then change your entire setup for one stream. So we're just gonna paint in all these little nooks and crannies, anything that's visible from the outside. And I'm not being like super like finicky with this. Anyways, also if anyone's curious, the music that is playing is just the Lord of the Rings online soundtrack. So video game music. I was trying to find something that I could play a long list of and it not have a bunch of commercials, because originally I was like, oh, I'll just put Animal Crossing on in the background, but then I was like, yeah, but then it'll just be Animal Crossing music. Or game audio or whatever, so. This is not super tedious at this point in the process. It will become more tedious as time goes on, but right now we're just trying to do some coverage. I'm probably going to change brushes once I get this one mostly wiped off, because it's too small for this part of the process. Anyways, how was everyone's day? While I ramble and paint, feel free to yell at me in chat. I can see the chat, it's just not right in front of my face. I kind of have to look over to see it. Okay, I'm going to switch brushes, because this one's going to take 10,000 years, and nobody wants to watch that. I think I'm going to use... Also, elbow... Oh, is my elbow in the camera? No, we're good. Okay. I'll stick my elbow directly in everyone's face. I'm just going to use a big-ass fucking chip brush just to lay down some big-ass chunks of paint, and then we can always do the details afterwards. Chip brushes are great because they cost literally nothing, and you can destroy them, and then just buy like another 20-pack for like $1 or whatever. And I'm not worried about like the texture if I leave brush marks or puddles or anything like that, because I'm gonna go for a rough looking texture when the project is done anyways. So I'm not super concerned. I'm more concerned about getting paint on everything on my desk than I am the actual mask being fucked up. And I did not make remotely enough paint for this, but that's also okay. Let's see, what's chat saying? Chill this morning and then busy as hell in the afternoon. Lots of work stuff going down, as you know. Yeah, lots of work stuff. Hopefully you've got some of that sorted or are getting some of that sorted, since we talked about it outside of chat earlier. So, I don't know about anyone else, but acrylic has always been my default, like, preferred paint. So I took, one of the classes I took in college, you had to paint only in gouache. And I liked gouache, but it's fucking expensive if you get the good shit. Like, I still have my college gouache because that's how expensive it was. I'm like, I ain't throwing this shit out. I'm like, if it doesn't dry out, I'm not throwing it away because it was too fucking expensive to throw away. Like, that shit cost me a mint. Because they wanted us to have, like, specific brand and specific colors. That shit was expensive. Like, I would say I dropped easily over $100 per class at the beginning of each semester on just, like, basic supplies. Not even, like, stuff for specific projects or canvases or... They'd be like, oh, go buy these paints in this specific color. And it's like, fuck Bob Ross, alright. Like, I can't use the cheap shit. So I've only ever, as like a teenager and adult, bought high-quality product. Working on it, refilled the things I needed and picked up some new stuff just for fun. Should be lined up to do what I need to do tomorrow. Good to know. Good stuff. Good stuff. I figure depending on how long this takes / where we get to tonight, this might be a 2-part stream. Because obviously some things take a little bit of time to dry. Acrylic dries pretty quickly. I have my ceiling fan on, so, and it's not cold here, so it shouldn't take. I am making a huge mess. I don't even think you guys can see it, but I'm making a huge mess. This is why I put the paper down on my desk. My desk is actually a medium gray, so I have white paper down on my desk because I knew I was gonna make a fucking mess. And it's okay to make a mess, but you have to be prepared for it. Like, I don't want my limited edition Animal Crossing Switch to get paint all over it, so I threw a towel on it because it's right there, out of frame. And I'm like, bitch, I can't fucking clean that, so let's not. I'm trying to fill in some of this gaps with the pooling a little bit. They're going a little too thin. I don't know how the view is for you guys. I'm trying to... So I'm not gonna lie, I spent like the other night and tonight, like way more time than I care to admit, trying to figure out how to get the camera angle to work on how my desk layout is, because before I had the camera in front of me, looking like down at the mask, but then I was like, the way my light is affixed to my desk, so I can't, it's hard for me to just move the light. I can't just move the light that easily. I'm also facing a wall, so it's hard for me to set something up in front of me without moving all of the furniture. So today I was like, okay, let's try putting the camera on my left side over there, on the side over that direction. And then I was like, well, that doesn't work because the light casts this way, so you would have the darker view of this side. And there's a lot of detail here, so it's something you kind of want to be able to, you know, see what I'm working on. So then I was like, well, let me move all this stuff over and then try to set it up on... It's a whole hot fucking mess. And I don't use like a little webcam. I literally use a full-size camcorder, digital camcorder. So it's not like I can just clip it on at the top of my laptop and be done with it, because that would be much easier. But again, I don't buy new things for my stream unless I absolutely need to and can afford to. So I was just trying to make do with what I had. Because, like, I have a little tabletop tripod, but I don't really have a lot of space to set it up with the current setup I have. At least not for this kind of work. If I wanted to set it up to show my face, that's a little bit easier. But that's not what we're doing right now. We're trying to show the desktop. We're trying to show this desktop as I end up with paint all over me. Also, I'm dumb because I had planned to have the camera facing my direction when I first planned to do this stream, and then I was like, oh, I need to like put clothes on and like not look like a total bum in like my underwear. And then I moved the camera and I'm like, why did I get dressed? Because you can't see me. That's how anxious this was for me to set up. I'm like, I'm stupid. Big monkey brain energy, you know. I'm trying to brush out some of these puddles a little bit so it takes a little bit less time to dry. Get up under here, under the brow. Sorry, some of this is just going to be hard for you to see just because need the light, obviously. I'm trying to handle the camera. I'm trying not to get it all over my arm and face the camera as much as possible. So, sorry, but we're working on it. This is what test streams, you know. Originally, this wasn't gonna be a stream. Originally, this was gonna be a coffee exclusive video. So, Anyways, I encourage everyone to paint, even if it's just for them and, like, not for money or for commission or to show people on the internet. Like, I think painting is, like, something anyone can do. Just like drawing, like, it's a learnable skill. People call it a talent. It's not a talent, it's a skill. Everyone has a different aesthetic. Everyone has a different take on the same thing. Like, even when you go to school for it, you sit in a class full of 20 people, and what they do is they put you all in front of the same either model or the same still life, and you all circle around this one still life. You know, a couple of apples and a vase and a flower or a skull or whatever. And you all paint the same thing, whether it's for 20 minutes or 3 hours or whatever. And at the end of it, you all have totally different work. Not just because you were facing it at different angles, but because everybody's way of making brush marks is different. Everyone's color perception is different. Everyone's way of, like, laying down their layers is different. So it's like, I think some people see painting as, like, if I can't paint like this person, why should I even bother? And that's the wrong way to go about it, because it's just like anything else. I mean, any hobby, tons of people do it, even if they're not doing it for a job. Like, lots of people paint, lots of people draw, lots of people cosplay, lots of people knit, or make soap, or, you know, whatever, stream, anything, make YouTube videos. But everyone's got a different style, or a different, you know, viewpoint, or they come from a different background that gives them a different influence on their work. Like, I always, like, obviously, if you can take formal classes, or, like, be tutored or something, or read books on it, or even watch YouTube tutorials from people who, you know what they're talking about, to any degree, like, you, like, knowing rules is always good, because then you can kind of know how to bend them, and it work. And that's something they teach you in school, basically, is, like, they teach you how to observe, and then they teach you the rules, quote-unquote, the rules, and then you go from there. So, like, yeah, you learn how to perceive a person and how to draw them accurately, because you learn how canon works, and you learn how proportion works, and you learn how to convey what your eye is seeing to what's on paper, you know, even if it's stylized. But then you can also learn, oh, well, if I stylize it this way, it looks like this, and if I stylize it a different way, it looks like that. Like, they don't try to make everyone paint or draw the same. And I think a lot of people assume if you go to art school, like, or to art, you know, to be an art major, even in a non-art school, that, like, oh, you already had that skill. You already knew how to do that. You already had that style, or that, you know, inflection on your work. And it's like, no, not most people. I mean, unless they, like, were already, like, trying to do that. We had so many people in our classes that had never taken an art class in their life, and, like, couldn't draw a still life to save their life, and couldn't draw a person to save their life. And, like, yeah, they learned the rules, and they could start drawing from observation a little bit better. And, yeah, there were some people, you know, that had been drawing their whole lives and wanted to do it as a job, and therefore had lots more practice under their belt, even though they hadn't been formally trained. Like, I wasn't formally trained before high school. I went to art high school, and I, you know, got my first, you know, bit of formal training there. But I was drawing forever. I was drawing since I could hold something to draw or paint with, you know? Just, like, finger painting, drawing little comics as a kid in elementary school. I made up little comics. Like, when I got chicken pox, I made up a comic about chicken pox man as a superhero or a supervillain or some shit. I'm getting some, I don't know if it's from my brush or what, but I'm getting some interesting bubbling going on here. I'm not going to fight it, because, like I said, I'm not going for a clean texture, but I don't know that the camera will pick it up, but I encourage, if there's something you want to try, even if it's just once, like, you know, a lot of people, I don't know about other places, but where I live, it's super popular to go to those bring your own booze and paint class, and they teach you how to paint, like, a sunset, or, you know, a beach scene, or some trees, or whatever, like a nature scene usually, and you go and you get drunk with your friends, or with your spouse, or a party, and you paint a scene, and you take it home with you, and that was your night. And usually it's bad. Like, usually, you know, you look at it the next morning, and you're like, man, I was drunk, or man, that looks like shit. But it's like you had fun doing it, and then most people, like, either give them as gifts or hang them up on their office windows or whatever. When I worked at the office, I know a lot of people did that, and then they would put their one time we had a lady in the office who was in her 30s, I think, at the time, and she had this painting on her wall of her office. And somebody, I don't remember who, somebody asked her, oh, did your kid paint that for you? And with, like, the deadest ass expression, she was like, I painted that. And, like, it was one of those moments where it's like, well, I would like to launch myself into the sun. It's like, oof. Oofa doofa. That was a rough one. But yeah, like, I mean, if you have fun doing it, then it's all good and, you know, whatever. You don't have to show people. You don't have to post it on Twitter. You don't have to post it on Instagram. You don't have to set up an art website or an art account or sell it on Etsy. Like, it's okay to have a hobby or a new thing that you try to learn without monetizing it. Sorry for that screeching. That was me rubbing this on the paper. It was louder than expected. Yeah, so, I mean... And everyone likes different types of paints or different things. Like, if I could just paint masks all the time, that would be cool. Like, that sounds like heaven. Like, I did that in college. Like, even in my painting classes, I took a painting class at one point in college, later on in my college career, where basically there were no assignments. You had to pitch something. You had to pitch your semester, basically, to your professor. And then if your professor approved your concept, then that was what you spent your entire semester doing, whether at home or in the classroom. And basically, you didn't have to be in the classroom, because the class was 7 hours a day, and no chairs or anything. You would come into a classroom in downtown, and you would stand at a desk or at an easel for 7 hours, and then you would go home. You weren't being graded on whether you showed up or not. You were literally being graded on your end of semester body of work, and your ability to convey what happened between your original pitch and your final body of work. So I always took the same professor for most of my classes at that campus. So, like, she kind of knew my jam, and so I took a I think it was a painting. No, it was a painting class. I took a topics painting with her, is what it's called. And basically, I was like, I just want to make a bunch of Japanese and Italian-style masks. And she was like, okay, sounds unique. And she was like, how do you want to make the masks? And I was like, well, at the time, you know, obviously I didn't have space or a budget, and I was a full-time student, so I didn't have, like, infinite hours of the day to make, like, resin molds and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, oh, well, I'm probably just going to make them out of, like, paper mache, and then just, like, use other things to do the detailing and then paint them. And she was like, oh, I've got something that maybe you'll like if you do paper mache. And I was like, oh, what do you got? And she gave me a roll of plaster gauze. And that was my introduction to plaster gauze crafting, which I had never used before for anything. So she gave me a roll of plaster gauze, and I literally, like, went home and experimented with it. And I brought in, like, a first draft of, like, an experimentation of, like, molding my face and then using the plaster gauze to make a blank mask. And she was like, how did you get it so smooth? Did you sand this and layer it? And I was like, no, if you rub it with your fingers while your fingers are wet, apparently it just smooths itself. And she's like, I've never tried that. And so, like, we sat there and, like, you know, worked on plaster gauze stuff. And then my final project for the entire semester was I brought in, like, I think 6 or 8 plaster masks that were all different shapes and different sizes and different styles. And, like, I did a bunch of Japanese no masks, and I did some Italian Venetian style, like, festival masks. And I used, like, hot glue to, like, make 3D elements on some of them. And, you know, so everyone was coming in and hanging up their paintings on the wall or mounting them on easels. And I came in and put a bunch of thumbtacks in the wall and, like, strung up all these masks. And everyone was like, I didn't know we could make stuff. Like, I thought we had to paint. And it's like, well, I painted the masks, and that was the whole thing, was the color and the stroke and everything of the painting on the masks. Like, the masks were not the assignment. The masks were merely the canvas for the painting. Looking back, yeah, they were terrible, but I got good grades on it. Like, my teacher loved that I was doing something different than everyone, because, of course, everyone's like, I'm going to do some still lifes, or I'm going to do self-portraits, or I'm going to, you know, the stuff you learn in school. And I was like, I'm gonna make a bunch of masks, because I'm a big fucking nerd. And my my high school portfolio was all Japanese mask inspired. So I had already, like, even though I wasn't making physical masks, I was doing art based on Japanese masks for my high school portfolio to get into college. So, like, I already had all this time of, like, working around Japanese masks and studying them and looking at color schemes and all this other stuff. And I was just like, well, why wouldn't I if I'm allowed to? I mean, it's not a sculpting class, and I never took any kind of sculpting class. The closest I ever took to a sculpting class was I took 3D design because it was required for my major. And I did a little bit of sculpting in that, but mostly it was like how to build boxes from scratch, like custom shaped boxes or packaging or things like that. Like we had to design our own cereal box, and I made that was a parody of a horror movie, and I made a Cocoa Krispies inspired Kandarian Krispies with Evil Dead packaging, and instead of Snap, Crackle, and Pop, it was Klaatu, Barada, and Nikto. And I did a full 3D box that I designed in Photoshop, and then you had to print out and build it. So I never did like tons of sculpting. I did some plaster sculpting, like subtractive sculpting, but that was about it. I never took ceramics. I didn't get to. Sadly, a lot of the classes in my school were taught by like the same like 3 professors. So if you wanted to take like multiple of their classes, it was really hard because they overlapped with each other's time slots. So I didn't get to take. The music is now kind of loud. Okay. I have not touched it. I'm turning it the fuck down because I'm over fucking with this music. But thank you for letting me know. Fucking music, man. And this is why I don't put music in my streams. Between the fucking copyright and the volume changing from track to track or whatever. Because my hands are covered in paint. I don't want to touch my computer. Like... So, I don't think you can tell on camera too much. But some of this is already like totally dry. That's the nice thing about acrylic. If you lay it on thin, it dries almost instantly. Which is why I'm doing like almost a wash. And I'd rather layer on like a wash than do a really thick layer and have to wait in like half an hour for it to dry. So, pro tips. I think it's happening a bit between tracks. Yeah, and what's the thing is, the music that I'm using is all one long file. It's not like separate tracks, so I can't even like adjust it to like level out. It's all just whatever volume it is. So I'm gonna turn down the volume in OBS and hope that it is tolerable. And if it gets too loud again, you let me know. I'll just turn it down again. It's so hard for me to like. I looked at so many different music options, and I just don't have the budget to pay for a music subscription specifically that is stream safe. And I also don't like most of the music. I'm not really into that like lo-fi dubstep crap. It's just, I know people like that, and that's great, but I do not. So I tried to find some stuff that was themed, but then I really wasn't having any luck that was good. Like I was finding just not good stuff, and I was like, I'm not gonna pay like $100 for stream music that I use once a month. Like that's a little excessive. Or $40 a month. And then I installed Sirenscape, and you can use Sirenscape on stream or on YouTube, but you only get so many tracks for free, and then you have to subscribe. So the tracks they give you are kind of like marketplace mix or battle music, and it's like that's a little intense. At least for this. A little intense for this. I'm like so paranoid I'm gonna lean really far forward because I lean a lot when I paint. That I'm gonna like lean into frame and my face is gonna be right in the fucking camera and I'll have a massive panic attack. So let's not do that. Anyways, I've rambled a lot. Yeah, so once we lay down this base, I'm gonna start going in with some darker stuff. I'm just trying to get like most of these big gaps filled in. I kind of wish Marcus was hanging out in chat, but I know he's busy. He got a life. He's unlike me. Like everyone. Everyone has a life but me. And that's why I'm on Twitch, because I have no life. I never like am salty if people miss streams or don't show up, because like to me it's like this is like stupid. I don't know how else to word it. This is just stupid, right? Like I enjoy watching other people stream, but I also get that like not everybody has like infinite free time to like watch a stream or has responsibilities or jobs or children or parents that they're taking care of or you know, life happening. And it's like, I don't have life. I have a sick dog, which I take care of, and I have people that I have to schedule my Twitch around, but that's about the extent of my quote-unquote life, so I'm trying to paint this under part without making a ginormous mess. This isn't stupid at all. It's nice and I'm enjoying it. Oh, well, thank you. It's so funny because, like, I watch other people's streams and they're like, oh, shit, we've got, 10,000 people in chat. And I'm like, me and my 3 friends, SpongeBob and his fingers. And then it's like, it's all good. I would rather have 3 friends in chat than 10,000 strangers, I think. Especially given how people are on Twitch for the most part. Sorry for this bad angle. I'm trying to paint so that I can see the light. I will put it back down when I can see where I've missed from underneath. Is this like paintbrush ASMR? I don't know how loud the paintbrush is, but... I was worried I didn't mix enough paint, but I think I'm actually good. Because that is the one thing that is irritating if you paint anything, is that if you're hand mixing your paint, to not mix enough when you start and then have to like try and match it, I fucking hate that. Like, obviously you get better at it over time, but sometimes you just under anticipate or over anticipate how much you're gonna need, and then you're like, son of a bitch. Either you have way too much paint left or no paint. There is no in between. Go in the nostril. I'm trying to get this freaking space. Alright, hold on. I'm going to try and rotate this without dropping it and making a loud sound. Because I have like these weird angles I'm trying to squish this paintbrush into, and it's not happening. Ew, it's dripping right on my fingy. Right on the old fingy. Ah, the anti-ASMR painter. That would be me. As I paint my entire hand and not the mask. Go in the freaking gap, my dude. Okay, whatever. Doesn't matter. Oh my god, my hand is covered. I don't even know where that came in from. Must have dripped down here. Okay, well, as you can see, we have a nice light gray layer. It is not perfect, and that's fine, because all these grooves are eventually going to be filled in. I'm going to go rinse my hands off real quick. While I go rinse my I'll show you my very paint, this is very wet. My very wet paint-covered hands. I'm just gonna, so I've updated down below the Twitch panels yesterday, and I also updated the command chat things, the chat commands. So now, if you are looking for the VODs, the VOD panel is still VOD, and it should bring up, please stream commands actually work today, because I don't know why there's been issues lately. There we go. It's very laggy, but there it is. So it still links to where you can find my VODs and the information about that. If you're looking for the charity links, I changed that a little bit. It's streamlined, so now it takes you to the Tiltify campaign page, and it also will take you to April's nonprofits, and she does not have a Tiltify page, or a Tiltify profile, or whatever it's called on there. I don't know what the term is. So Do Good will now bring up any of the current Tiltify campaigns, all in one link, also April's. If you're looking for information about our anime book club, ABC will still bring up what the current series is for the assignment, where you can find it, and then also, obviously, please don't put spoilers in Twitch chat. If you would like to talk, join the Discord. The Discord now has a chat command. There is also a link down below on Twitch, a panel for it. Right now, the Discord is for subs and coffee supporters only. If you are a coffee supporter and you join the Discord, you just have to like message me or let me know on whatever platform so that I can approve your membership manually, because Twitch will do it automatically. If you're a sub, it'll automatically grant you permission. But coffee is not integrated with Discord yet, so I have to do that manually myself. I have to go in and like as a mod. I got freaking paint on my stream deck. Are you kidding me, my dude? I have to go in and manually approve that. And if you're looking, so I know a few of my friends have this in their chats, and April brought it to my attention. There is an extension that you can add to your Twitch that lets you set pronouns, and your pronouns will show up next to your handle in chat, and you will also be able to see other people's pronouns next to their handles in chat. So I've added a link to that extension and the information about it under the chat command pronouns, and also it has my pronouns as well in case anyone is, doesn't see them on my little about section thing. The Pokemon and the Dream VO, let's see, oh yeah, not paint on the stream deck, right in the middle of a button. I'll have to, what's bad is I'll have to scrub it off later, or I'll keep hitting the button. So, the Pokemon and the Dream commands are still active. I think the Pokemon one is currently turned off because we're not having a Pokemon stream. It'll be active whenever we have a Pokemon stream again. You'll also notice I removed the suggestion box app from down below, just because I don't want people to keep filling it up between Pokemon streams. So I'm going to figure out a better way to do that, and I might combine the format of the Dollars for Doodles stream with the Pokemon stream in the future, because I would rather people, instead of spamming the suggestion box with suggestions, I would rather them like donate $1 to charity and then drop their suggestion in the donation. Because also the suggestion box is very tedious when I'm live to go through, because I have to go through, read them, and then approve them and push them into the actual suggestion box. Like, they don't show up until they're approved, but while I'm drawing, I'm not looking at the suggestion box, so it's a whole back and forth sort of situation. So for right now, that format has changed, but we'll figure it out when the time comes for another Pokemon stream. I'm going to go wash my fingies off. I'm going to let this dry for a moment, and I will be right back. Okay. Now that you got to hear me wash my hands, because I didn't turn my mic off. Oh no, I hit the wrong button when I left. No. That's not what I wanted to do. I almost accidentally clicked on the raid button. That would have been a mess up in the middle of the stream. Okay, got some of the paint off of my hands, so that's a little bit better. The mask is, drying to the paper. I'm going to try and hold it up to the camera a little bit without getting it on everything. You can see it's still kind of wet. There's some pools, and I just got more on my hand, so I can see where it's dripping, because it's dripping right in the nose bridge. Ah, yes, the nose bridge, where it's all over my hand. Okay, so next what I'm going to do, because I'm actually not super worried about it being super wet, is I'm going to take a little... So usually when you paint traditionally, if you're painting something that has multiple variations of... How did I just get more on my hand? I didn't even touch anything. Holy crap. Where's my towel? Let me grab a paper towel. Hold on. Paint on everything. So it's easier to darken a color than it is to lighten a color. You never want to work with a paint to try and attempt to lighten it, because you will just waste white, and white paint that's actually quality is super fucking expensive. So this paint is cheap. Utrecht paint is cheap. This is like good student grade paint. If you ever want to try. So like And you always want to add, like, the littlest fucking bit at a time, because a little goes a long-ass way. So we're going to add a little bit of black to our current mix. My paintbrush is stuck to the other paper towel, so hold on. Wet my paintbrush. And we're going to literally mix this in. You guys can't really see it, but I'm going to try and hold it up without making a big mess. So I'm adding the littlest bit of black in with the gray that I already have. Again, it doesn't need to be like super fine or perfect. Just trying to swish that around. Grab some water. And also, depending on how you're painting, you can also just put water directly into the palette to thin it out. If you're going like real watery, right now I'm just going to add some via the paintbrush. Okay, that's good enough for me, I think. I'm going to see how much of a difference this is. Let's see if I can turn this so you guys can see a little bit. It's going to be hard to see anyways because it's all gray, but I'm just going to experiment with this for a hot second down here on the bottom. I hear a dog. Hello, dog. Too wet. Okay. Too wet. Too wet. Too wet. Too wet. Sorry for the loud mask moving sounds, but it's hard to hold it when it's wet and also paint and also move it. I really wish I could hear the music, because that would be fun. I'm just sitting here in silence, listening to my own brain cells die. Which is not nearly as fun. Me. I'll find cool music for stream. Also me. Can't hear the music because I can't wear headphones. That makes fucking sense. Okay, I'm gonna add more black to this because I don't think it's dark enough. Please don't roll onto my pants. Thank you. Thank you, paintbrush. Get in there. Come out. Come out. I'm imagining music in my head, but I can't hear it, so whatever. Ooh, almost just flung that paintbrush. Whoops. Nobody saw that. Probably should have used a smaller paintbrush for this. I think it's a little too wet for what I'm trying to do. Yeah, it's way too wet. Okay, I need this to dry a little bit more before I can do what I want to do, because it's coming off entirely, which is a problem. Okay, gotta let this dry a little bit more. I'm just painting on where I just took all the fucking paint off. Any little obvious spots that I missed that are super glaring. It's going to be a long evening, even outside of the stream, because I am basically just doing housework after this. And that's it. Taking care of dog, housework. That's the after the stream excitement. I was hoping that this would dry faster so that I could get further, because I really am not going to be a fan of setting this stream up twice. This is not an easy setup to set up in my living space. Tell if that's so. It is painted. Looks white. Okay, that's definitely white. I'm headed to pick up the kids, so yeah, I feel you. Yeah. It's like I cooked dinner for my dog, but I'm not gonna get to cook dinner for myself, so that's fun. Because I had to make her more food that I can put her medicine in. Because she won't eat her medicine unless I hide it in food. So I had to cook her food before the stream so that I could put her meds in it later when I have to give her her other meds. So, you know, that's where my spoons go. Here, let me feed you human food. So you will take your medication. Okay. I want to fan this, but I'm scared it'll be too loud on cam. Actually, I'm not hating it so far. I don't think the camera will pick up the subtlety of like the differences that I've put down, but actually a pretty decent difference. I'm trying to swoop out some of the extra liquid that's in like the gums of the mouth, because obviously it's pooling in the little gaps, which means it'll take forever to dry. Also the nose bridge, I should go in there and try to swoop some of that out as well. Pardon me. I think I've gotten most of the drip off of the nose that I can see anyways. Alright, I need to let it like dry a little bit unless I find another pooling section. Has anyone been keeping up with the anime book club? I am, I think, like halfway through Lovely Complex. I forget where I left off. I'm at like the second Christmas episode. I think I'm just after the second Christmas episode, if I'm not mistaken. I watched the first 2 episodes, April says. Nice. As I stick my finger right in the other wet paint. I'm going to scooch this up so it's on camera a little bit more. Okay, there we go. As I touch everything with very painty fingers. Do I have paint on my arm? No. I think I just have water on my arm somehow. Okay, I'm going to let this dry for a hot minute. Before I... Because I want to wet apply some stuff, but I think it's too wet for me to do that. So I'm just going to wait for this to dry up a little bit. So what I was thinking was, because I can't plug the Switch in while I have this setup going, is technically I could put on ooblets and I can switch out the cameras while like I wait for the paint to dry. I don't know. I don't know how I want to do this. Because like we have lots of grinding to do in ooblets, but it's technically a painting stream. And I don't know how much... Like, I would rather just, like, this dry and then play Ooblets afterwards. Or play something else afterwards. I'm sure lots of people aren't going to come to this stream because it's a painting stream and not, like, a meme video game. Which is understandable. Marcy's been playing a real spoopy-ass game on her stream recently, and boy, the screaming has been wild. But honestly, I think I might look into that game. I don't even know that I'd be good at it, but I might look into that game for our spoopy stream. Because it's kind of like... I've tried not to watch too much of her stream because I don't want to be spoiled, but also, like, if I end up playing it, I don't want to know all of, like, how to get through the stuff, because it's kind of puzzly, but it's definitely scary / horror. But, like, in a weird genre of horror. It's not, like, a Resident Evil-y kind of game. So we'll see. Because I also don't know how much it costs. And I have not forgotten. I owe you guys a spoopy stream, and I know that it's been very put off, but I did not forget. So, we will get there. For right now, we're going to wait for this mask to dry. And, we'll go from there. I am thirsty, and why did I not bring a drink in here with me? I have a cup, but my cup is empty. That's very intelligent. Anyways. So, yeah. Ooh, that looks like shit. Hold on. As things dry, as different paint layers dry, you can kind of see, like, where the difference is. So, I'm gonna turn this, and I'm sure you guys can see it a little bit easier. Like, around the teeth and stuff, especially, it's, like, very... I was trying to fill it in. So I'm just gonna rub that so that it is not so bad. One nice thing about acrylic is you can kind of layer it while it's wet. It's just a matter of doing wet layers on top of wet layers is hard. But if you're doing like a wet layer on a drier layer, it's not usually too bad. Honestly, a lot of this is pretty dry. It's just that there's so many like little valleys where stuff is pooling. So that's where it's mostly wet. But that's where I need to be painting next, so I'm just trying to... There's so much white. I almost wish I had a spray paint to have done the base on this, but I didn't have one, and I wasn't going to buy one specially for this, so that's why we're here. Doing this the way we're doing it. Anyways, we'll leave it here for right now. Stop letting me touch it, because I'm gonna drive myself insane. There's so many white places, it's driving me insane. But it already looks so much different when you put the first layer of paint on, right? It already looks so different. You can see the detail a little bit easier because it's not all white now, even though I haven't done anything. Go get a drink while paint dries. Yes, I should go get a paint. Go get a paint. Go get a drink. Holy shit, how is this so wet? Where is this dripping still? I thought I wiped all of this off. Hold on, because I just got paint all over me again. My dude. Where be the paint? Because I just got a whole glob on my hand. On 2 fingers. I'm a hot mess, don't mind me. I'm actually a cold mess. I'm not really cold. I just mean like in level of attraction. The opposite of a hot mess. Dumpster fire. I'm a dumpster fire. There we go. I rub paint all over my body. You guys can't see me rubbing this paper towel with paint on it all over myself where there's no paint. Now I've discovered either paint or a scratch on myself. This is always fun. Okay. I'm going to get a drink. I'm going to move this a little bit just so it's in camera. Okay. In camera. Stop rocking. Stay there. I'm going to grab like a bottle of water or something. I'm going to try to remember to turn off my microphone. And I will be right back. Alexa, what time is it? Alexa. Okay, I'm back. I grabbed a little bit of juice. And I also fed the dogs, so they will be barking in 5 minutes to go outside. But I figured 2 birds, 1 stone, if I was already up and going to the kitchen. Also, I might eat a Twizzler, because the dinner of champions. If I can get it out from under all my cables. And we're waiting for paint to dry while I eat a Twizzler. The most exciting stream ever! Oh my god, please come out of the package. Ow. As I try to throw out my wrapper and kick my foot immediately into something. Still a little wet. I don't know if it's dry enough. We can find out, though. Turn a little bit towards the camera. Not that you can see it anyways, because my hand will be in the way. We're going to try down here on the bottom of the face. See what we can do with this. Damn it. Okay, that's still too fucking much. Well, I'll show you guys in a second when I'm done. So there's certain parts of this kit that have very smooth finish and other parts that have kind of a rough finish. And the parts that have the really smooth finish, the paint comes right off on. So those are probably going to end up with foil over them anyways later on, or leaf over them. But for right now, so what I just did was I actually, so you can see, like, if you look here, like where it's plain, there's just one layer of paint there, right? Like there's not like any kind of detail. And then here I just added in this dark gray that goes into the cracks, so it adds more definition. So like I'm gonna do a little more, because I'm gonna layer this, so it's okay if I make a little bit of a mess. Where am I at on the camera? So you just kind of like make it extra wet, and then you rub it off with the paper towel. And then it just stays in the cracks. And you can do this with a bunch of different colors depending on the type of finish you're trying to get. And I'm going to use like a padding instead of a rubbing, because then it gives you more of like a spongy sort of pattern from where you lift it than just like rubbing it off. So you can see already like right here where I just added it is already drastically different than like back here where there's no definition. So this, like from here to here, you can see like all of that like kind of dirty, gritty difference. I'm going to try and move the light up and see if it helps it focus. Oops, as I almost just knocked over the whole cup of water. Nobody saw that. Oops. It's kind of my style, making a giant mess. Wouldn't be me if I didn't make a giant mess. So literally, you're gonna just like add like a bunch of grunge, essentially, and then either rub or pat it off depending on the texture you're looking to get. I'm kind of going eventually for like a more stony kind of look, so it's okay if I just leave like a texture. Because we're using plain paint on a relatively smooth texture. So again, you can already see the huge difference. Sorry, the focus is like not... But like it brings out all of that intricate detail. So for a first pass, that's actually not terrible. So I'm going to continue that up this left side. Technically, it's the left side. But you want to make sure that's wet so it like goes into all the little crevasses. The crevasse. And obviously, if it's dry, then it's harder to take off. And if you were doing like a rusty kind of thing, you could do this with the rust kind of colors. It doesn't have to just be like shadow. It can be for all kinds of things. You can do it for mold. You can do it for dirt. You can do it for rust. Weathering, just weathering in general. And this is like 101 for like cosplay or like detailing. So you can see I kind of went like up to the cheek. And you can see literally where it's cut off. Like it's just like plain gray. And then a nice like first layer on the chin and the jawline. And I told you the dogs were going to bark to go outside as soon as I fed them, and there it is. I think, not my dog, but the other dog, the one that barks all the time, I think she's losing her hearing or has lost her hearing because she's not very responsive. Like, I can snap right next to her and she doesn't flinch. So I think she's either going deaf or has gone deaf, which is a whole other problem. My dog has a brain tumor or brain cancer, and the other one is now probably deaf. Boy, it is fun times with 3 dogs at one time when they're all old. It was one thing when we had one old dog and then a bunch of puppies, but now all the puppies are old, so... It's a whole other shenanigan. I don't know how bad this is on the microphone, but I'm trying to not be super horrible with it. And obviously, like, using a clean cloth versus a dirty cloth versus a textured cloth versus a smooth cloth, you get different results. So, you know, it's one of those things you experiment with. But, I mean, look how much difference that already makes. We'll compare the done, well, the partially done side here, the chin up to like the eye, to the non-done side. I mean, that's a huge difference already, and we've only just begun. That's like such little work. Now we are going to do other stuff besides just this, so don't worry. It will. I don't know if it'll be on tonight's stream, but it will happen. Okay, let me get some more water on my brush. We'll continue our way up here. Get into all these little swirlies. All these little swirlies. And I try to do a little patch at a time, so that way it doesn't dry out too much. Because I do want it to come off of the raised edges. Oh, bork, bork, and chat. Bork, 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 and chat. Okay, try to get that in there. Okay. See, so we're moving our way up a little bit at a time. I'm going to let the dogs out real quick while I wait for this to dry, but I'm going to leave this visible so you guys can see it. We're in camera. Okay, I'm going to be right back. Alright, sorry about that. Dogs need to go out. Dog peed all over the kitchen. Couldn't wait 5 seconds, so, you know. 5 gallons of pee. Back to painting, though. So you can kind of see a little bit like how it's pooling into the gaps. That's just what we want it to do. Pat it off a little bit. Leaves a little bit of definition, a little bit of texture. Good times. It's okay if it runs, because this isn't like the final layer or anything. I'm gonna kind of do this nose bridge area. Trying to get it in the camera as much as possible while I can also see it. It's so funny. I wish you could see the other screen that I'm seeing right now. I mean, technically you could, but I don't need to get copyright striked. But there's a video that goes along with what I'm listening to, and it's pretty funny. For what you guys are listening to, because I can't hear it, but... There's a big glob of paint. I don't want all that. Yeah, the snarly nose part is pretty great. Kind of hard with my camera zoomed in to show you the full thing, but... Yeah, the guy who made this actually offered 2 variants back when he made them. One was a closed mouth one, and the other one was this one. I think this was the first one, and then he made the other one to match it. So it's supposed to be like a male and a female one. Okay, I'll move my way up this side, I think. Actually, no. Even though I'm gonna go over the mouth, I'm still gonna put some in the mouth for right now. I'm still gonna go over this part again because it looks like poopy. We're making a little bit of progress. I mean, you can see the huge difference even between, like, what I've already done and the undone side. The undone side, it's all clean and gray, versus the first pass over here, and I'll not pour paint all over my thing, but, you know, I'm leaving a fair amount of paint. I don't know if I told you this, but I got mustard seeds, poppy seeds, and new herbs today that I can't wait to try them. Interesting. For crafting stuff or for, like, gardening purposes? All of my friends are crazy plant people, so it's always hard to know when people talk about, like, seeds and plants, if they're talking about for planting, or if they're talking about, like, for cooking, or if they're talking about for crafting. I never know. If you ever have plant questions, go to Iris or Marcy. They're both crazy plant people in the best way. FYI. For soap. Okay, cool. Hopefully that works out. Look at how much depth that adds to, like, the teeth. That already looks, like, way better just from that. Like, look at the teeth that I haven't touched versus, like, the front top teeth. So the tongue and the nose on this are very textured. So those are going to pick up some nice texture as well. So even though we're probably going to foil the teeth later, I'm just like, for now I want to at least put some paint down on them. Try and show this on camera. I don't know that it'll pick it up, but like, look at the texture I'm getting, like, on the teeth and everything. I don't think you can see it, but it's looking pretty good so far. And like, the tongue and the nose both have like a rough texture, so them picking up the dark is pretty good. So like, I do this kind of stuff when I make foam armor and stuff too, not just for things like this. If all of the sounds are too much, you can always let me know and I can turn the mic off. I feel like it's got to be loud on the microphone, even though it's not really loud to me. You don't think it's loud? Okay, good. Good. Because it's like, I keep banging this stuff around on my desk, and it's like right next to where the microphone is, so I'm like, I know the mic's got to be picking up at least some of this. Me spending an hour weathering teeth that are gonna get covered in fucking gold or whatever. think so far. I wish the light wasn't so intense so you could actually kind of see it, because you're not getting any of the texture on the camera at all, basically. But I mean, but them gnarly chompers, they're coming along. Now we'll do, so you can see like this side I haven't touched at all versus like this side. Sorry, I'm trying to line it up. So let's do a little bit more of this. Not bad for a first pass. So when I went outside to walk the dogs, the neighbor that lives across the street that I can always hear through my window is out there very loudly singing some Mexican music. He's not Mexican, but good for him, I guess. I think he's just... It sounded like he had a lot of beer bottles with him, too, because I heard a lot of clanking. Glass clanking. And he's, at least as far as I can tell, by himself, but he's sitting outside just having a one-man party. Your hands are moving so fast, like you know what you're doing. Well, I mean, to be fair, there's no technique here. You're literally just laying down wet, very, very watered down paint. Like, before I wipe it off, it's literally just pooled on. There is no, like, stroke, because I'm literally gonna tap off. So anything that's not in the recesses, that's it. I'm just pouring it liquid into the gaps, and then just literally tapping off whatever does not rest into the gaps. There's no technique to this. I'm only doing it in small areas because it doesn't dry then. I don't want it to dry before I get to it. So yeah, this is a very quick thing that you can do with like cosplay or anything. Like, I used to have little figurines that, you know, weren't worth anything, like action figures, and I would weather them the same way. Like, I would take like blood or dirt, and I would, like, brown colors, and I would just, you know, you just like wash it over their face or like over their armor, and then you just rub off the excess. Like, I'm literally you're just painting over the whole, like, area where there's the recesses. It doesn't make a difference which way you go, or as long as it's watery and it goes into the gaps. So I'm just rubbing it enough that it goes down into the little tiny cracks, because there's so many little details on this pattern. So I'm just kind of laying it in, and then just taking off the excess. That's it. So that it stays in those lines, but it doesn't stay up on top. Because just like later on when I add other stuff to it, like, I'm gonna add some I'm gonna add some moss to this, like some dried moss and everything. Like, obviously, if something sat outside in the dirt and in the rain, like, I'm gonna add some, hopefully, like, cooling down dirt looking effect. Like if a statue sat outside. Although my hands are kind of stuck to it. But yeah, you're not really trying to paint the lines. You're literally just trying to fill them in with liquid, and then remove anything that's not in the cracks. So like up here, like, these are all recessed lines. Like, you're not trying to trace them, you're just trying to fill them with liquid. I mean, you could do this with a spray bottle, with a wet rag. I mean, you don't have to do it with a paintbrush. That's what I have, so that's what I'm using. A lot of people use paper towels for this, like wet paper towels. I use the paper towels for the removal part, so that's just how I get a little bit more texture, as opposed to just wiping it off with like a clean rag. Yeah, this is not it. This requires no skill whatsoever. No skill, no hand-eye coordination. You're literally just taking very soupy, like, let me lift this up so you can see it a little bit better. This is literally like water, colored water. This is it. It's literally liquid. I'm not taking the thick, heavy-bodied part of the paint, which is why I keep taking more water from my other side, because I'm using up so much of the liquid. So, yeah, this part does not require a lot of time or skill. You can't do it wet on wet, or it doesn't stick. That's the only thing. If you do wet on wet without, like, letting it dry at all, then you're just wiping it off. So, yeah, this part's the easy part. Literally, if I had spray painted the base, we would be done with this, you know, super fast. And honestly, I could use a bigger brush for this. I'm just trying to, because I'm doing it on camera, I'm trying not to make a huge mess. If I was outside doing this, I would probably use a much bigger brush, but it's fine. We're having a good time. We're making a little mess. I'm trying not to cover my entire living space in paint, is basically the goal here. But yeah, you pick up some dirty water, basically. You drabble it on so that it gets into the little swirls and the little cracks. And I don't think the camera picks it up well enough with the lighting. But, like, you can literally see where it starts to separate because the paint is too thin to work as paint. It literally is sitting on top like water. So, like, you could leave that, or you could put salt on it and it'll make an interesting texture too. Like, people spray alcohol or salt, drabble, like, fine salt onto their acrylic, and it'll pool the salt, the color to the salts. So you can get lots of cool textures with paint if you experiment with different things. But this is not something that takes any kind of skill. And this is a common thing for, like, cosplayers and, like, weathering armor or weathering prop pieces. It's a good, easy way to add some depth. Again, we just take it and we're just dabbing it off. We're not doing anything fancy. This is not Bob Ross in here. This is ghost wiping wetness off of paint. So that just added, and again, my lights blow it out a little bit because I have to have the lights on, but let me see if I can dim this light a little bit. That's too much. Okay, that's the dimmest the light will go. Okay, so you can kind of see a little bit better, like the texture from the dabbing. And then you can kind of see like where it hasn't been done. Hold on, I'm trying not to get paint everywhere. So like up here on the top, you can see it's really clean. There's nothing done. And then as we move over, you can kind of see like where the black has been dropped into the cracks. So yeah, if you ever are painting something, even if you're repainting something you already that's already painted, like if you're messing around with action figures or models or cosplay things or even Halloween store stuff, like if you buy like a crappy $5 weapon from the Halloween store or a party shop or a costume shop, this is a great easy way to to kind of upscale the look of something that's very cheap, because that's also like a very useful thing. Because if you're doing like a Halloween costume or a cheap last minute cosplay or something, there is nothing wrong with modifying a store-bought prop, even if it's kind of crappy. There are tons of makers who literally go every year around Halloween and buy tons of relatively cheap, not detailed props, and then paint over them, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's like painting a model kit, that's why like nowadays like DIY kits have gotten so big in the cosplay community. Like people make mask casts or helmet casts or props or whatever, and then people you paint them yourself, and you can make them any color you want or any texture you want. You can make them clean, you can make them dirty. I like dirty. I feel like dirty looks more real on damn near anything. I mean, even just this so far, by adding in the gray. I mean, you gotta think, this thing was totally white plastic. It's all just plastic. It's just a piece of white plastic, and literally with very, if I had spray painted the base layer, which would have taken 5 seconds, we could have taken one large ass chip brush and done this entire wash in like 30 seconds. And I'm just doing it more tediously with a small brush, because I'm at a desk with no space. But I didn't want to do half of the work off stream because I felt like that wasn't any fun. And also this like maybe will help teach somebody something if they're like getting into cosplay or they're getting into painting kits or whatever. Like I said, you can use this for all kinds of things. And like there's no really wrong way, like if you're not going for hyper realism, there's no really wrong way to weather anything. As long as you think it looks cool, that's all that really matters. Obviously, if you're like working on a film or on a play, obviously you're looking for different aesthetics, because if you're doing something for stage, it has to be visible from a distance. If you're doing something for a movie, it has to look real, or it has to match the aesthetic of the movie. But if you're just doing something for yourself, go fucking wild. You wanna do a wash with a totally different color that's not like dirt or rust. Go for it. My paper towel is starting to fall apart, so I had to get a new paper towel. Okay, new paper towel acquired. But yeah, we're just doing the same kind of scrub off, and you can use a sponge or another brush or whatever, and you get all kinds of different textures. This is like Bob Ross on some kind of drug, I don't know. Happy little accidents, but a mask instead of a landscape. And you can get really cheap kits, like DIY, like blank vinyl toys. I know when I was in high school, Moonies were the big thing, or Monies, I don't know how you pronounce it. We always said Moonies, but I don't know if that's correct. And I actually do have some cheaper, like DIY kits, like figurines. You can always get them at like Michael's or Joann's. And they're meant for kids. Like, they're things like kids can paint. You can always experiment with those as an adult. That's a good cheap practice thing for different techniques or different paints, because they're usually either vinyl or plastic, depending on what they are. My friend Katie sent me some Spider-Man ones, some Spider-Man figurines a while back. I literally I haven't touched them. They're sitting in my drawer with some other kits that I haven't touched. And maybe I'll do them on stream too. We'll see in the future. Not tonight, but in the future. But yeah, just, it's something that, like, this part is something that's fun, but doesn't take a lot of, like, brain power to do. It just is, like, doesn't take a lot of focus. It doesn't take a lot of skill. obviously, if you're going for hyperrealism, you can pay a little bit more attention to detail or colors or the layers. Like, you can put more layers. Like, you put brown for dirt or patina or whatever. Right now, we're just kind of generically making a dark gray because there's going to be more layers, but for right now, I want to at least get the base done tonight. Because this isn't... I don't want this to be the whole stream. Let's see. The music just got insanely loud. Oh, no. Okay. How is that? I don't know why. The music changes and the music goes crazy. I can't with the music. I can't win. Let me know how that is. I just lowered it a lot. When the one person in chat has the longest lag out of anyone you know. So trying to fix your audio is an experiment. How is the music? You're my only active person in chat, so I need you to let me know when I fix the music if it's good or not, please. Thank you. Yeah, he's not really a great color for the lighting because I don't think you can even tell a lot of the stuff I'm doing on the light, but there will be pictures when he's done, obviously. He will be seen again. This is not his last appearance. And Honestly, during a daytime thing, I might take him outside and spray him with some stuff to, like, let it run down him naturally. We'll see. It's very quiet now. Sorry, I had to step away. Yeah, no, I understand. But, yeah, I don't know how loud to make it when there's no one else talking. So I'm going to turn it up just a little bit, and hopefully it doesn't go fucking crazy again. don't know, not so bad so far for the first pass. If I'm doing the metal, it'll just be the teeth, I think. I probably won't be doing the mouth on... Well, here's the thing. So, the stuff that you do the mouth, that I would be doing any kind of metallic with, I do have metallic paint. However, unless you're planning on, like, sanding it and doing buffing and stuff, metallic paint will always have, it won't be, like, actually fully metallic. It'll look like paint no matter what. Or if you coat it in resin after you've, like, layered it and sanded it. So, my thought is, if I do metal mouth, or metal teeth, I should say, if I end up doing metal teeth, that will take a while, because the stuff that you have to put on, you have to put stuff on, like, as primer before you can even lay the leaf down. Because this is, like, actual leaf. It's not like that sticky craft store stuff that you just, like, peel and stick on something. This is, like, actual leaf that comes in sheets, and you have to apply it with something, and then you have to seal it with something. The stuff that you use to apply takes 30 minutes before you can actually put down the leaf. So, if I want to do metal leafing on the mouth, which is, you know, probably what I will do, I will lay down the material, the liquid material. It has to sit for 30 minutes, and then you do the actual leafing. So, then you have to wait for that to sit, and then you can do a sealant, and that also takes time to dry. So, that alone is pretty time-consuming. Like, it would probably be an hour total, give or take, depending on how tedious it is, because obviously, you know, he does have detailed teeth, and his fangs that stick out are 3D. So, it would be tedious to do the teeth in a leaf, and I do want to. So it would probably be a separate stream, as much as I hate to say I'm going to do a second one of these. I would like to get at least a few layers of the gray down today to get a little bit of depth. I'm going to need to do some splatter on him, but I don't want to do that in my bedroom. I mean, I technically could, but I also don't want to get it all over everything, because it's a kind of a messy thing to do. I would rather do that outside in between streams, get him splattered or speckled up, and then go from there. But I'm probably going to do, like, 1 or 2 more layers of gray, and then go from there. Now, in terms of the teeth, I'll pull this up right now. Hold that thought. So I have 3 options for teeth. I have silver, which it's obviously very metallic, so you're going to get some reflection of color from the things around the room, but is silver, you know, silver. This is actual leaf. And then I have gold, which is pretty common in mask teeth, honestly. Eyes and teeth, honestly, are pretty common for Japanese masks. So I have gold, normal gold, and then I also have copper, which I thought I had bronze, and I fucked up and I have copper, which is cool, but isn't bronze. Bronze is more aged looking to me by default. Copper, especially when it's clean, like unless you add patina to it, looks very new, because it looks like something you'd see on a robot or a shiny new penny. So, those are the 3 options I have. Now, I do have paints. Oh, hey there, Alyssa Charlie, welcome. Yeah, the copper is nice. I don't know that it's going to match the overall color scheme that we're going to go with. Gold is the typical for the teeth. And thank you so much for the follow. Very much appreciated. So it's probably going to be between the silver and the gold. The gold, obviously, would be a pretty high contrast, since we're going to go moss and dirt. But gold is kind of the typical for teeth. So imagine the layers that we've done so far only with more dirt and actual moss. I have physical moss I'm going to affix to this. So we're going to have moss. We're going to have some runny... I want to have, like, runny water dirt kind of coming off of him. I don't know if I can really do that at this setup without making a giant mess. So I might have to do that also between streams. Thank you. Yeah, so far tonight all we've done is, so obviously it was all white cast. I just laid down a gray base and then just, I'm doing some weathering layers to start with. So that's where we're at so far. Just kind of got through the first wash. So, and I'll eventually add all of the padding and strappage and everything on the inside, but for right now, we're just working on paint job. So, I think most of the poolage, most of it's dry. There's a few spots that are kind of wet. But it's actually not too terrible, considering how much we laid down. My fingers are totally gray. So I might do a little bit more. Let me turn the light back up so I can see. I might do a little bit more wash. And then we will see where that leads us, because we've already been going for a little while now. It's already been over 2 hours. Uh-oh. The music changed. Does that mean the music is now blasting? Whenever the music changes, it's like a deadly trap. Hold on. I'm going to rewind this and just see if it's super loud. If this so the music just rolled over. If the music is super loud, let me know, because we keep having problems with the music jumping in volume. Every time the track changes, it changes volume drastically. Oh my goodness. I need like one 15-hour track that just is one volume, please. That's what I need. Okay. I'm gonna touch up, because the chin where we kind of wiped it off, it definitely needs to be fixed up a little bit, where it's like very white. I don't think this particular section will hold the paint very well. It's quiet? Okay. Well, better quiet than freaking loud. It's at, I would say, about 1/3 right now, so... Okay, yeah, good. So this part right here, and then the other small gem up on the forehead are the smooth cast resin. So they're not holding wet paint very well, which is fine, because I'm probably going to go over them later anyways. So I'm not too worried about, like, filling that in. It's not totally white, even though that's how, from a distance, the camera will read it, and I don't know that the camera will focus on something that small, but it does have some paint on it. It just is reading very reflective, because it is shiny. When you cast resin, you choose what texture it casts at by how you make your mold, so there are some very shiny aspects to this cast. But I'm just going to touch this first patch up that we did, because that pretty much came off. Fill in some of this. And then I might do a little bit darker. I don't know if I'm going to go with any green tonight. We'll see. Okay, not too bad, not too bad. Yeah, I feel like the eyebrows are pretty pale. Let me just see if I've missed any. I think I'm gonna go into some really dark stuff after this. Like, we're kind of at like a medium gray right now. And I think I'm either gonna go green or really, really dark with the next one. Sorry that I keep turning it into funky angles. I'm trying to look in all the little cracks. You can't see them on camera, but I can see them in this light pretty clearly, so it's easier for me to catch them now than when the light is turned down. I missed like a whole freaking section over here. I don't even know how I did that, but fill in this whole section. This whole section is like unpainted. I don't know how. Stay on there. Stop coming off. There we go. Too thin. Oh no, a piece of paper towel got stuck in his face. That's not what we want. Yeah, towel face. That's my horror movie alias, I guess. I just wear a towel over my face. Nothing else, just that. Has that been done? Has that been a horror movie character yet? Towel face? Surely, right? They've done much weirder things. That's got to be one that's been done. Every now and then my hand gets stuck. Pyramid Head's lesser-known little brother, Towelface. Yeah, like, I mean, of all the things, like, Silent Hill surely has a towel-related creature, monster, person, whatever you want to call it. I mean, he wears, like, essentially a towel around his butt. Maybe the other one's got a pyramid in his butt and a towel on his head. Pyramid butt, yeah, exactly. I mean, but he would be towel face. That's, you know. Or he'd be, well, I guess he can't technically. I was gonna say like Head is the family name, but I guess that wouldn't be accurate in this instance, because that implies something else that's much more horrible. So will not. Pyramid butt it is. Come on, I just want to fill these few little white patches, dang it, before I run out of this exact shod. I hear a dog wandering around. I hope that means she's not about to pee in the house. Oh, doggo. She goes back to the vet, not obviously this week, but next week she goes back for her follow-up for her brain. So that's gonna be fun. Another full day sitting in the vet's office with a dog that A, can't stop peeing, and B, doesn't know what's going on anymore, so yay. I mean, all they're gonna do is be like, here's more meds, or there's nothing else we can do. When she dies, she dies. So, I don't really know why I have to take her physically back. I guess they're just gonna check her, but hopefully they don't have to do full scans and shit again, because that shit be expensive. And we're now on vet visit number 3 since December, so... I mean, she is doing, like, she's functional, even though she's not, you know, she's never gonna be, like, 100%. Like, she's essentially, you know, dying or whatever. But as long as she's, like, moderately functional on her own, like, I just want to give her quality of life while she's still around. Even if that means she pees every 2 damn seconds. I've never seen... It's not even like she's incontinent. She's literally just... Her meds are making her super thirsty, and she's chugging, like, full bowls of water, and then immediately needing to pee, like, literally a gallon of water out. I have never seen a dog drink so much in 8 dogs. She is a drinking fiend right now. These meds are really making her thirsty. Pyramid is the surname, like pyramid, comma, butt. Okay, that's... So his name is technically Butt Pyramid, then. Which is a whole other thing. Okay, first... Oh my god, did I put that down and the paint came clearly right off? Are you serious? Okay, I see how it's gonna be. Let's not. Let us not. And say we did. Okay, so I think what we're gonna do... What time is it? Let's see, it's about 7:17. So we've been going for almost 2.5 hours. What I'm probably going to do is this is not going to be a one-night stream, because I can't be on here forever, and also I'm gonna go crazy. So what I might do is we might switch over to something else, and then this will be a part 2 will happen. And the few things that need to be done between streams, like the outdoor stuff, I can do off stream, and then when we come back to this another night, that stuff will be done and ready to go. Because some stuff will have to be done outdoors, and I can't, I don't have a setup really good for that, so. And I also don't want to dox my entire neighborhood, so. But we'll just, got quite a, let me turn that down a little bit again. So we've got a decent amount of layering going on in the first little bit for indoor work anyways. So this one's not so smooth, this top one, which is why it's holding paint really well. This one's smooth like the chin one, and then the chin one is really smooth, which is why the paint keeps focus, please. There we go. You can see like the paint's on there, but it's kind of coming off. So, but the texture's coming along really well for the first couple of washes, I would say. So from going from white, white like the interior, to this, not too bad for the first night of the painting extravaganza, right? What do we think so far? I know that it's a little bit hard from the camera angle, but I only have so much space to really show it off. Not terrible for the first night, huh? If I had primed it first, we would have been much further in this tonight, but I didn't plan very well, so here we are in the unplanned. What is wet? I just stuck my finger in another wet thing. Good grief. But yeah, I don't think that's terrible. So now the question would be, as I adjust on my creaky chair, do I want to switch over to some Animal Crossing, some chill Animal Crossing evening time adventures, or do we want to do some more grinding in Ooblets? Because we just accomplished the first major goal for the Wildlands on last Ooblet stream, which was, what, Monday, I think? Otherwise, we'll do Ooblets tomorrow. I'm down to do Chill Animal Crossing tonight for the remainder of the stream. It's... Oh, you have stars. I could come get some wishies if my internet works. Yeah, I could get you some fragments since you can't get fragments on your own. But yeah, I can hop on Animal Crossing. I'll do my dailies because I have not logged into my island at all today. What is my music doing? Okay, it's flashing. I'm scared. When the not until 7, which is, let's see, it's 7:30 my time, so it's 6:30. So you have some time. So, well, between the time it will take me to clean up the giant mess I've made, because mind you, my hands are gray. Let me turn my light back up now that the like, my hands are very painted. You have your controller, so you can actually get fragments for once. Okay, cool. Well, what I'll do is I will drop our charity. Oh my god, I got so much paint on my stream deck. I don't even know how I got so much paint on my stream deck. It's everywhere now. It's not even just the one speck that was there earlier. Holy shit. It's everywhere. I hope I didn't get it on my fucking camera. I'll be really mad. This is an expensive camera. Like, yeesh. Realization in real time. I put paper down to keep my desk nice and clean, but got paint on everything else within a 5-foot radius somehow. Absolutely incredible. That's my superpower, and it always has been. I'll clean up my desk, since this is also my streaming space. I will unplug my good camera friend here and switch my setup over to Animal Crossing. So it'll be a short break anyways, because I'm probably gonna have to walk the dog. Clean up all of the painting stuff, wash my hands, get the Switch set up to the stream software, all of that good stuff. While I do that, I'll put the BRB screen up, but I will go ahead and drop, like, the charity links. I will drop the pronoun link. I will drop, let's see, if we're going to do Animal Crossing, I'll drop the Dream link in case anyone's interested. If you're looking for VODs or for backlog of my streams, I don't keep them up on Twitch. I put them on my Coffee. They're all there at that link. We also do Anime Book Club on my Discord, so I'll drop those links as well. And I'll be back and we'll do some Animal Crossing. Let me turn this infuriating music off. I know for next time that the music does not stay freaking even. Also, if I do not remember, I need to update the stream information. So I'll be back. I'm going to clean up, wash my hands, take care of the dogs, change the Switch setup, and then we'll be back with a little bit of Animal Crossing. Thank you so much for joining me for the first night of painting my face. Good boy. Layers number 1 and essentially layer 3. Not too shabby. All right, we'll be right back.